Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is found guilty on all charges in the death of George Floyd. We share reaction to the verdict.
The Rockford community has a spot to sit and think about the victims of local violence. See it for yourself when you visit the memorial bench at Don Carter Lanes.
Message to roll up your sleeves, this time not for the vaccine, but to give the gift of life, how you can help combat a local blood shortage. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. The eyes of our nation were focused on a moment nearly a year in the making. 12 jurors reach a verdict in the murder trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin. He's guilty on all 3 charges. Rena
Roy has the details as officials brace for community reaction.
After 10.5 hours of deliberation, the jury has reached a verdict in the murder trial of Derek Chauvin.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. As to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. To count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
The jury was sequestered until they reached their verdict.
For a high-profile case, this is a pretty fast verdict. When the world is watching, the jurors typically want to cross the T's and dot the I's and make it clear to the world that they very carefully considered the evidence.
Monday, jurors heard 6 hours of closing arguments from both sides after nearly 3 weeks of powerful testimony and supporting evidence. Prosecutors arguing Chauvin's action killed Floyd. The defense hoping to create reasonable doubt, saying his use of force was justified, blaming Floyd's drug and heart issues for his death.
Mr. Chauvin should be found not guilty of all counts.
What the defendant did to George Floyd killed him.
The diverse jury, ages ranging from 20s to 60s, 5 men and 7 women, 4 black, 6 white, and 2 self-identify as multiracial.
When there are no questions, when there are no clarifications asked by a jury for jury instructions, when you have nothing to read from the jury, a fast verdict like this indicates that there is a full agreement.
That was Rena Roy. The legal team for George Floyd and his family are talking about the verdict right now. You can watch that over on the Eyewitness News Facebook page.
There's now a place in the Forest City where people can pay their respects and remember the victims of the Don Carter Lanes mass shooting. A memorial bench has been placed outside of the bowling center beside a small pond. Several Rockford area businesses donated it. A sign on the bench reads, "In memory of Jerome Woodfork, Dennis Steinhoff, and Thomas Furseth. Always remember and never forget December 26th, 2020.
A Texas lawmaker is proposing the Vanessa Gehen Act, a bill in honor of the slain Fort Hood soldier. It would protect military members from sexual assault and those who report sexual assault in the military. The bill would also make changes to the process of how assault is reported within the military and increase penalties for offenders.
In her memory, we must fulfill the great responsibility of correcting the fate of our nation. In her memory, we take our marching orders to speak until sexual assault in the military is recognized for its severity.
Today's announcement comes after a gate named in Gehen's honor was unveiled at Fort Hood on Monday.
Official numbers from Winnebago County's April 6th consolidated election are in. Voter turnout was a little over 11%. Records show of the more than 97,000 registered voters in the county, just under 11,000 ballots were cast. The highest consolidated election turnout we've seen in the last 8 years was 24%. 2 years ago, it was around 8%. A renewed push to end qualified immunity stalls in Springfield. Eyewitness News is keeping you connected to the Illinois Capitol. The legal shield of qualified immunity protects police officers from facing individual financial liability in court for violating a citizen's constitutional rights. The Black Caucus wanted to end qualified immunity in January, but took that out of the final police reform measure that passed.
Here's a bill that we're slowing down. It's a very difficult issue, not just here locally in Illinois, all across our country, and of course federal Congress taking this up as well. Not something that members are wanting to sweep under the rug, but we want to take a comprehensive approach.
The police reform plan that passed in January includes a new task force to study the issue of qualified immunity. House Democrats plan to wait until that study is complete instead of voting to end qualified immunity now.
A group of State Line students is recognized for their work improving the Rockford community. Construction students at Guilford High School received a Governor's Hometown Award. The program honors volunteers across the state. Guilford was selected for its work with Habitat for Humanity to build homes from the ground up. RPS leaders say the partnership prepares students for future careers and increases access to safe and affordable home ownership for local families. Illinois leaders say it's refreshing to see so much good during a challenging year.
Nothing is stronger than the heart of a volunteer. During this past year, that has become even more evident as volunteers rose to the challenge in ways not anticipated or even dreamt of in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
This year saw the largest number of Governor's Hometown Award applicants since the program was revitalized.
Those who donated their time across the state line are honored on Volunteer Recognition Day. Senior citizens with a little extra time on their hands might consider the AmeriCorps Senior RSVP Club. It stands for Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. RSVP's director matches participants with rewarding opportunities that fit their schedules and interests.
Basically, we have individuals who are looking to get out in their community who are over the age of 55 and they just want to do something. Maybe get involved in their local food pantries or get out, as you can see today, and help the environment.
RSVP has served Boone and Winnebago counties for more than 20 years. The service recently expanded to Lee, Whiteside, and DeKalb counties. Find a link to get involved on our website.
And if you can't donate your time, there's always the option to roll up your sleeve and donate blood.
Blood donors are especially needed now during the pandemic. Ari Bruckman spoke with the Rock River Valley Blood Center director. Ari, the center tells you there is a local blood shortage.
Eric and Mimi, COVID and shutdowns plus social distancing has caused a ripple effect for many local businesses and nonprofits, including blood banks.
In our high schools alone, being such a big chunk of our collected donors, we've lost about 3,000 units probably not being able to do the high school blood drives this year.
A massive shortage. The Rock River Valley Blood Center says due to the pandemic, many donors have opted not to give blood, and there just aren't as many drives happening right now. Donor recruiter for the RRVBC, Alyssa Eller, tells me it has been a bit challenging to get people to donate.
Donors that may have normally came in aren't eligible for whatever reason it may be. People are traveling more often or going to blood drives right now in the pandemic. It's a little bit different where we can't go to certain blood drives that we used to.
Scott Haw is an Army veteran. He knows what it's like to need to get blood after winning his battle against lung cancer. Haw says life doesn't stop, and it's important for people to give blood to help those in need.
There are people out there who are getting in accidents. Accidents don't stop. The need for blood doesn't stop just because. So yeah, to me, this is a huge, huge need.
Each donor can save up to 3 lives. Longtime Freeport resident Patrick Sanders says choosing to donate blood is an easy decision.
Every day there's somebody needing some blood, and when we can do this, we're happy to contribute.
Eller tells me their goal was to get about 30 people to donate at today's blood drive. To find out how you can participate moving forward in other blood drives, visit this story on mystateline.com. Eric?
Thanks, Ari.
Democrats push recently passed voting laws front and center.
Coming up, some label the changes modern-day Jim Crow, but supporters argue it's about protecting the vote.
We had a couple of flurries fly through the skies here earlier today, although a couple of snow showers falling in some places. Find out how long that'll stick around coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team with Eric Wilson, Mimi Murphy, Sports Director Scott Leber, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Voting rights take center stage on Capitol Hill.
Senate Democrats held a hearing to confront what they say is a sweeping Republican effort to restrict voter access in states across the country. Our Washington correspondent Raquel Martin has more on the hot button issue among lawmakers as she keeps you connected to the nation's capital.
Democrats titled today's hearing Jim Crow 2021. The title definitely struck a chord among Republicans at today's hearing who say Democrats are intentionally misrepresenting what they call voter integrity laws.
We've got to act. History is watching us.
Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock says Congress must pass legislation protecting voter access to combat a resurgence of what he calls Jim Crow-era voter suppression laws.
This is a full-fledged assault on voting rights.
These laws aren't really about integrity.
At a Thursday hearing, Democrats called the sudden push to pass dozens of voting laws in states like Georgia, Texas, and Wisconsin baseless.
President Trump's officials at the Department of Homeland Security declared that the 2020 election was the most secure election in American history.
But Republicans fired back.
Give me a break.
Iowa Republican Senator Chuck Grassley accused Democrats and President Joe Biden of intentionally misleading the public in an effort to overhaul the election system.
These claims about Georgia aren't about truth, they're about politics.
It's a power grab.
South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham says in the end, states have the right to pass laws to strengthen the integrity of their voting systems.
There is no Jim Crow 2.0. There's an effort to make sure you are who you say you are.
Democrats in the House have already passed sweeping election reform legislation. What remains unclear is if the Senate will also take action. Right now, a growing number of progressive groups are calling on Senate Democrats to change Senate rules so they can pass voting right legislation with or without Republican support. For now, in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Anything really accumulating for us today as far as the snow is concerned has been well confined down to the south. We've had some flurries, some snow showers come down, even mixed in with a couple of sprinkles. And for some, we're actually seeing some of that, at least within the last hour to two. You notice on radar, we've got a few spotty showers trying to develop here as a weak disturbance rotates in from the north and from the northwest. This is what it looked like just about 45 minutes ago. This is Ann Kenny sharing this picture in Scarborough, Illinois. This is south of Stewart. She said the snow's coming down pretty quickly. However, none of that really sticking as that surface temperature is above the freezing mark. Where we've had the sticking snow, it's been a little bit more to the south, but you see those scattered showers and flurries lining up a little bit further up to the north. Another disturbance back out here over the west in the plains will actually work through during the day tomorrow and give us more of the same. In fact, could see more scattered showers, even some snow flurries and some grapple kind of develop with the heating of the day during the afternoon and evening. But for tonight, once we get rid of that precipitation, temperatures are going to drop back below freezing, so that freeze warning remains in effect for all of northern Illinois as that temperature drops, kind of ranging between about 25 and 30 degrees. So good idea here this evening, bring those plants indoors. You've got potted plants, hanging plants maybe you have out there on the back porch or the front porch. Cover up anything that you can't bring in. Good idea to cover it up before dusk, and then tomorrow morning remove it once the sun does come up, so things will start to heat up. That frost freeze potential is again going to be there tomorrow night, and then some patchy frost will be possible on Thursday night before the cloud cover comes back in. So here we go with Futurecast, what it looks like by about 9-10 o'clock. Anything coming down as far as showers or snow showers will be wrapping up. Skies will slowly start to clear. I think we'll hang on to that cloud cover until just before sunrise tomorrow. But again, despite that, temperatures should still be able to drop below freezing. Now, early tomorrow morning, where our skies clear out just enough, that's where we could see a couple of places that'll fall back into the 20s. We'll see a little sunshine early on, and then with the heating of the day, build up the cloud cover, and then those scattered rain showers and snow showers for the afternoon. A lot of that will be more focused a little to our northeast, closer towards Lake Michigan, but won't be surprised if you see that for the afternoon. High pressure builds in drier air that helps clear us out once we get into Wednesday night and then into Thursday. Thursday looking fine. Temperatures will be back up into the upper 50s. Let's talk a little bit more about tomorrow and kind of what's going to happen tomorrow. We've got a quick drop in temperatures with height, so that really helps build up the instability because we'll have a very cold pocket of air coming in above, and that's how we'll get that cloud cover to develop and then those scattered rain showers. Live look with our Mercial Skytrack camera here down in Rochelle, looking off to the northwest. Temperatures for the most part have have been in the 40s, and that's where our weather watchers sit here this evening. We're 29. That's where we end up tomorrow morning with a few of those flurries, rain showers through this evening. Up to 47 for tomorrow. Scattered rain and snow showers for the afternoon. Drying out, warming up a little for Thursday. 57 on Friday. A few showers. But guys, look how quickly we warm up into next week. 60s and 70s in just a week's time. But it does look to be a little bit more active with some more rain showers likely by the middle to end of next week.
Well, that Tuesday sure sticks out for a good reason.
Yeah, it
Thanks,
does.
Candice.
Scott's in next to talk sports.
Harlem quarterback James Cooper Jr. is closing out an amazing career. Scott will tell us where Cooper ranks among his top Nick 10 quarterbacks of the last 30 years.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
James Cooper Jr. will finish one of the greatest careers a Nick 10 football player's ever had this Friday night when Harlem plays East for the Nick 10 championship. He already holds virtually every Nick 10 passing record for a career and several single-season records. He's been amazing this season. Through only 5 games, he's passed for almost 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. He's also become an excellent running quarterback. He has scored 7 touchdowns with his feet this season. And he's been clutch the last 3 weeks, leading Harlem comebacks. He's an all-time Nick 10 great, but is he the greatest at the quarterback position? I got to thinking about that. I've seen 32 years worth of Nick 10 quarterbacks. I'm a huge fan of Cooper Jr. I'm putting him 3rd on my all-time list. My pick for the second best Nick 10 quarterback I've seen in action personally is Belvedere's Matt Barr. In 2005, he was the Nick 10's MVP. That season, Barr led Belvedere to the Class 7A state semifinals. He was an outstanding passer, but he was an exceptional runner. He rushed for more than 1,000 yards his senior year while also completing 62% of his passes. Barr was so good the next year as a freshman he became Western Illinois' starting quarterback, and he started there all 4 years and had a great career. The most talented Nick 10 quarterback I've seen is Boylan's Demi Croft. He also was the ultimate dual-threat guy. His senior year, Croft passed for more than 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. He also rushed for 845 yards. He had length, he had speed, he was mobile, he had a strong arm. He was a Big Ten talent. He went on to start several games at Minnesota in college before things spiraled downward there. But there's no disputing Croft's talent. Making my best to the rest list are Chris Finland of Hononegah, who went on to start at NIU, Matt Weber of Boylan, who chose pro baseball over college football, and Guilford strong-arm Justin Martini, who was at NIU for a while. Many of the more recent quarterbacks have piled up more stats because the Nick 10 has evolved into more of a passing conference with a lot of spread offenses than what we used to see. So you can't just look at the stats when making these evaluations. I look at the talent. That's my opinion. You're entitled to your own, and that's my take. We'll be right back.
Temperatures for us this evening dropping into the upper 20s. We'll see a few scattered showers continue here over the next couple of hours.
Thanks for watching.
Stay safe.